Hello everybody, and welcome to my screencast about Google Optimize. I'm doing this screencast in English, so my friends and customers in other European countries might have it easier to follow my explanations, particularly if they don't speak any German. So that's basically the only reason why this screencast is in English. So the Google Optimize is new tool, not a brand new tool, but a pretty new Google tool, and I really like it a lot. It helps you to optimize conversions on websites, to do A/B tests, to do testing and all this kind of stuff. And it's quite nicely integrated into Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics. That's what makes it so, basically relatively easy to use. The idea of it is not brand new. I first wrote about something like that in 2009, and in the early days the tool was called Google Website Optimizer, and Google had this tool as a separate tool on the market from May 2008 to August 2012, and this tool was later integrated into Google Analytics. And then after a certain time it was extinguished there, and Google came up with a new tool which basically does the same thing, just in a more comfortable way. So I'm going to show you now an example which I have applied to test the tool. To start off with the Google Optimize interface, I would just like to draw your attention to the Google Tag Manager, which is another great tool I really love to use. And all you have to do basically to get the Google Optimize capabilities into your website is to integrate the Google Optimize tag through your Google Tag Manager. Well, that's basically all. And if you look at the setups, the pre-setups in the Google Tag Manager, you already see that there is a Google Optimize tag readily set up for you. So all you have to do is put in the appropriate IDs into that fields here, save the whole thing, and then the Google Optimize options and capabilities are basically ready to use on your website. So that's that, and now let's have a look, let's dive in and have a look at what it actually does. Well, as you can see here, I have set up different accounts, and within each account you can have a number of containers which actually holds experiments controlled by Google Optimize, and we're gonna have a look at one particular experiment which I did lately on my own website, and that experiment is called picture or text. And basically what it does, it offers the user, when he enters a particular page, two options, and the split between the two options is a 50-50 split. So let's look at one option. The one option is the original, and in that original I just picked a website on my blog, and I integrated a part here which basically leads to one of my books. So the idea here is to test whether this version here, which has just a text about the book and a link to Amazon, is generating more clicks, or whether the alternative, and now let's have a look at the alternative, generates more clicks. And the alternative is just the same page. If you look at that, it's the same page, and the only difference is this one has a text just saying something about the book, providing a link, and this one here has a picture. And I got that picture just of the Amazon partner program, and it's just a piece of HTML which I integrated here. I did this through the Google Optimize tool, which I will be showing in a minute how that works, so that you got the full understanding of what's happening here. So basically we have two different versions, and the question is which version gets more clicks? And that the interesting part here is that we have a clear winner, a very clear winner here. You get some kind of reporting with Google Optimize, which is quite neat. And what you see here is the original version did get 152 sessions, and this 183, and so here it is. Just a second. So this version basically here generated 14 conversions, and this one only 3. And as you can see here, obviously the probability to beat the baseline, and that's the baseline, is 99%. So this version here is much better than this version, and at the very beginning when I started this, that wasn't really apparent. So for the first 10 days they were kind of 50-50, but then this version here really blasted it and really beat the other version by far. So basically what should be happening now, or what in theory should be happening, is that I just delete this stuff here and put up that picture, that graph, that link for the website, because we have a clear winner here. So that's basically what the Google Optimize does, and I'm going to show you now how easy it is to operate and to work with that tool, because at first when you look at it, it's kind of, ooh, wow, what's this? I mean, so many options and so much to keep in mind, but really once you've done it once, it's that easy, and it's a lot of fun to work with that tool. So let's dive in. First of all, I'm gonna end this experiment here because we have a clear winner and I know what I wanted to know, and I'm gonna put up a new experiment on this same page now, which will have a picture of this book and an appropriate text, obviously. So I will exchange this whole area here of the website, and I will put up a second picture here about another book which goes about online controlling, and see which book gets more clicks and more conversions. So this is a nice test basically to play a little bit with the Google Optimize, but it also delivers an idea of how it can be used for website conversion optimization. And yeah, so let's dive in. Let's go. So what you can see here is now this is the old experiment, and this has ended as of 1 minute ago. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be creating a new experiment, and that's going to be an A/B test as well. Or maybe, well, no, I'm not doing the multivariant test because that's better, and I really want to show you something which is definitely working. So I'm going to stick to the A/B test, and I'm going to name that test now this book or the other. So let's see which book gets more clicks. And then I'm going to create the experiment. Well, before I start to generate more variations of the original, which still is this page here, I'm gonna tell Google Optimize something about the objective of this experiment. And obviously the objective of this experiment is to get conversions, and those conversions have been defined because that tool here is linked to Google Analytics. In Google Analytics, and Google Analytics has a conversion goal which basically monitors every click to Amazon. So the description would be click to Amazon shop. So let's save that, or you don't even have to save that. You can add other objectives too. Obviously here I've never really done that so far, so this case is very clear and straightforward. And later on you can say something about the split of which variation you're doing gets what kind of split. And what I'm going to be doing later is the original will only get 1% of the traffic, and the two variations, which I'm going to be creating now, gets, let's say, 48% and the other one 48%. And then after a little while we'll probably get a pretty clear picture on which book generates more clicks. So the first book I'm going to add here is this one here. Where the hell is it? Just a second. This one here, Online Marketing Controlling, and that's a fairly new book. It was published in May this year. And so what I need to be doing is I need to generate HTML code for my affiliate program in Amazon to get this this banner link type of thing. I'm gonna do this quick, just a second, I'll be back. So here we go. I've generated this wonderful graph which directly links to Amazon on clicking on it. And I now have HTML code which I basically can copy, and all I do now is I go back to the Google Optimize, and the first variation I call Online Marketing Controlling book. Here we go. So I get this variation here, and what I can do now is when I actually click on it, save and continue, I get some kind of Wysiwyg editor. So you don't even have to touch the website. You don't have to integrate any code into the website or do anything there. You don't have to bug any technician or even CTO to please do something for me on my website so that I as a marketer can actually do my job properly. No, you don't have to do that. You can do that all by yourself, and you don't need these webmaster technicians and whatever guys to help you with that. You get this brilliant, nice little what you see is what you get editor type of thing here. And technically, I suppose what happens now is you integrate or delete or whatever additional code, and all that gets managed through JavaScript, which is sneaked into the website by the Google Tag Manager. So let's add this extra piece of HTML code, and let's add some kind of meaningful text instead of this text we have here. Just a second. There you go. So I basically deleted the link up here and added the code from that page, which generates this banner including the link, and that's all. So let's apply this, see what it looks like. Okay, it looks a little bit rough, so what it needs is one more paragraph, I think, and that's it. So let's quickly do that. So here we go. So that's the page now, the variation, which basically holds the book about online marketing controlling. So we're going to save that element. We're done with this one. And now we're going to do a new variation, and the new variation is the other book, which is Online Marketing Konzeption. And we're going to add that. Same principle. So we need to get the code of that for that book as well. So fix the HTML, let's rock and roll. Hey, that's working quite nice. So basically we have two different books now, and that's it. We can save that. We're done. And we now have three variations. One is the original. One is the version which basically leads to that book, and the other one is the version which leads to this book. So all we need to do now is to set up the split for each version, which I will do in a second as soon as this shows up again. So here we are, the three versions, and obviously what we need to do now is to make sure that those two versions get more of a share of the users. So we can click here and say, okay, this version we want 84%, this we want 84. Of course we cannot really have 100 here, and this version is only 4%, so in total that's 100. That's it. So this original will only get 4% of the traffic. This version and this version will get 48. So basically the split between those two is 50-50. Let's have a quick look at the preview of both pages. Just before we publish it, to be on the safe side, you need to save your experiment. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So I'm gonna save the experiment, and now I can hopefully have a look at the preview. That's preview 1. That's the book about online marketing controlling with a different text about online marketing controlling, blah blah blah. And this is preview 2. Here we go. What happened to my... Oh, there it is, yeah. So that's the online marketing Konzeption, and that has a different text here. So we now have 2 variations, and you can even, if you like, check what it's look like on a tablet or whatever. Quite nice feature, but I think we've seen enough. We can now start the experiment. And all we have to do to start the experiment is click on Start Experiment. And after we've done that, we cannot change anything. So you better be sure that you get it right before you press that button. So as soon as you've done that, well, not as soon, but in a little while, we will see some data here. And that will be very interesting. And I'll be back on that issue in a few days with a little update. Thank you very much for your attention so far.